Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another round of the North American Challengers League Open Qualifier Weekend 1 of 2024. And I'm going to cut to the chase. We got a doozy for you. This is a 3-0 matchup. Both these teams have qualified, but they are looking to be the best of the best in the Swiss stage. You got your blue side, number 2 seeded Team Fish Taco 3-0. You've got Hoarder, Limo, Sudsy, Levitate, and Snow. On the other side, though, they've got a big-time opponent. Aporia, Lawrence, Music, Samikin, Lynx, and Rovex. Myself, I am Slayer. You're going to be taking it through with myself and Bonfire on the color casting duties. Bonfire, we're speeding through draft. What are you seeing so far?
Yeah, look, I'm glad you brought up the draft because a lot of big picks that I'm seeing are bans, I suppose. The Caitlyn, the Ashe, and the Varus, and the Lucian. That's 4 AD carries being banned out. A lot of those could be flexed in the support role as well. The Ashe, the Caitlyn, and the Varus, all very strong supports. But TFT, with all of those bot lane bans, says, you know what? We're happy with the Emperor of Shurima ourselves. We're going to grab ourselves the Azir, and has been an absolute menace in pro play, in solo queue, in champions queue. No matter where you play League of Legends, you're bound to see the Azir. When you go Lichbane, when you go Nashers, just absolutely pops people.
Yes, exactly. And Sudsy does have a game of Azir under his belt from day number 1, their win over Redemption. He was piloting that very, very well. Interesting hover, though, back from Aporia. They'll lock in the Melio, who has most been paired with the Lucian. Interestingly, was the final or the first ban of Aporia. So, what do they want? What is Rovex cooking here? What do they want to get him on with Lynx besides that Melia?
Yeah, I feel like you could go Jhin here. I don't think it's a terrible Jhin angle. They're going to go with their mid lane, so we're not going to be able to see their bot lane for a bit. But I think this is not a bad Jhin game at all. If you're able to get that range advantage over Azir, get fourth shot with the cozy campfire, and keep the Jhin, feeling safe and getting that long range damage, I feel like that's not a bad shout at all. There are still angles, even with all of these AD carry bans. They're going to go towards that Corki. I feel like that's what we've seen the most. Azir, Corki, some LeBlanc, some Syndra, some Oriana. It's really all the similar faces that you've seen before. Also seen quite a lot of Xin Zhaos and Rumbles. Just in the last game, TFT picked themselves up the Xin Zhao. They were going against the Rumble. But the Xin Zhao and the Rumble both have had so much play in the open qualifiers. I feel like this is just a complete perfect meta read from both of these teams.
Well, it's going to keep trucking along here because Aphelios certainly has been around in the meta as well when it comes to AD carries. Also, has been a longtime partner of Melio, like you talked about with that range advantage, those buffs. It certainly helps out so many of the mini firearms, I guess I'll call them, weaponry that Aphelios bolsters. So, going to be pairing up in that bottom lane, which does give us a very intriguing draft where both teams have opted for opposite side of the map control so far. TFT throwing up the top side, Aporia making sure their bottom lane and mid are locked in.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see if TFT decides to ban out this Cassante. It's a pretty big issue in quite a lot of games, but Rumble's a pretty good counter against it. Obviously, in the last game, we did see Hoarder go Cassante and have a huge impact even against the Rumble in lane. But as a whole, it feels like Cassante is just a problem. And so it does look like they're going to hover a potential ban, even though Rumble does win in that laning matchup. Cassante's Cassante. They don't want to have to deal with that. So they're going to ban out the Cassante. Now, the question is, where do you go from here? If you are this Aporia squad, for Lawrence, I mean, there are some angles. You could go just pure tank. The Udyr is still available. Obviously, we've seen a lot of the Udyr in Korea, just being able
Ooh.
to proxy waves and be a huge tank later on in the game. Kennen being potentially hovered. I don't exactly love that pick, but they are going to lock it in. I think there are slight concerns though, because Aphelios and Corki really, really strong when it comes to getting space. Cannon's not going to buy that super well. You're kind of looking for flank angles. I feel like they've tipped their hand a little bit. They're going to 100% go for a tank jungler here.
Well, and they're certainly bolstering the team fighting ability, right? They were at least so far gearing up for a lot of big poke ability with that Corki, with that Aphelios from range, and now they're going to make sure likely locking in Lawrence on that Kennen to bring Slicing Maelstrom across for those mid to late game fights, skirmishes, and all encompassing areas. Great answer, though. I love this from Mr. Levitate himself. a lot of answers. And yeah, it's funny because season 13, right? The lovers duo, they were prioed all the time, right? You were seeing Rakan's first picked on blue side. You were seeing Zaya Rakan on red side being the turn pick. And now in the new season, you could get Zaya Rakan for a buck, for a cheap buck on the turn here. And that's going to be the bottom lane. Another new addition bottom lane we're seeing from the Snow and Levitate show.
Yeah, I feel like the Dow is definitely down on Zaya and Rakan, but that doesn't mean that they still don't have their strength. Still a great scaling bot lane. Rakan still super strong when you're able to get the charms up. I think the new items just don't really pair as well with either of them as they used to, especially this Zaya. That's not to say it can't. That's not to say there can't be a good Zaya game. It's just compared to other people, maybe isn't the first AD carry you might want. But then you look at the bans and you realize there really wasn't many other places that you could go. And so indeed, they are going to grab that Zyra Khan. The Poppy's interesting, right? Because I was talking about the tankiness and how they kind of needed somebody to frontline. Poppy is definitely tanky, but compared to just a pure tank, isn't really that. Kind of a bruiserish tank. And so being able to frontline all five might not be the strength of this champion.
Yes, certainly it is not, right? She has some tanky prowess to her, but not all on the cards there for the Poppy. Similar stature goes the way of TFT, though, right? Xin Zhao is going to build mostly bruisery. So we are getting a game here where you might see some people explode, get popped, especially if some lanes get really early domination oriented going forward, because we don't have a single pure tank in store for this insanely hyped matchup.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to a lot of skirmishes, right? I think we always talk about the early game and being able to skirmish your way out of bad situations, and I think both of these teams are going to look to do that. I think also something that I definitely don't do enough, and I think casters as a whole don't do enough, is they don't talk about pushing lanes. As junglers, you always talk about where do they want to go, and how do they want to evade, yada yada yada. TFT is going to struggle with this. They don't really have a ton of pushing lanes. When you have a Nazir, when you have a Zaya, you're just not going to get push as easily as you would if you had somebody a little bit early on in Rumble. You pick it for that pushing lane because of the strength into melee champions, and then you're going against a Kennen. And so, as a whole, TFT might fall behind a little bit early because of that.
Certainly something to watch out for as we get into this matchup. But now that we are in a spectate delay, I know with this sort of new style format that we're doing on the broadcast side that, myself and Bonfire are a little bit out of our element when it comes to how we stack talking about these teams. We don't get a fancy schmancy pre-show where we hype up the matchup, but I feel like we have to do this service, right, Bonfire, because we've talked a lot of me and you have talked a lot about Team Fish Tacos roster. This is our fourth game covering them. Obviously stacked roster full of players who did earn promotions to the tier 2 level in Sudsy here, but you also have guys who were so close. Limo, Levitate, and Snow especially were just a couple of games off making that promotion themselves, and Hoarder played a huge role in making it as well in that summer split when he subbed in during the GSL stage. But the other side is kind of what I want to harp on here, because you have Lynx, who was playing on that AOE roster in the NACL last split. Rovex was in the NACL in the spring split as well. Samikit is a young rising star in music, as we all know, was also in the NACL in the summer on that Supernova roster. So for this Team Fish Taco squad, if they want to figure out if they're good enough to make a promotion, this is the best test they're going to have yet.
Yeah, Aporia is 100% a good team. This feels like a weird place to ask it, but I'm realizing now, did Levitate and Snow 2, maybe even Sudsy as well, make the NACL on that Doy and Tony Top team and then lose it because of the Doy and Tony Top controversy? I guess it's just a
Oh,
question out there into the world because
that's
I don't know if
also
they got.
true. I
I
always
don't know.
forget about the Tony Top days. So
I don't know if they were replaced by the time that Tony Top decided to do what they wanted to do. I honestly can't remember. It was so long ago. We're talking like years at this point. Something to think about because I'm realizing now maybe they were. Maybe they've all tasted a little bit NACL greatness. Who knows?
yeah, I mean, and that the big point here is for Team Fish Taco, at least, you know, I've gotten to talk to Sure when I was a part of the combine for Team Fish Taco interview. He said the owner is the expectation is promotion to the NACL. Anything short of that is a failure. And while we are only 3 games into the open qualifier part of this very long and treacherous process to get into the NACL, They've been perfect.
Yeah, they've been perfect so far, and they want to continue to be perfect. I think both of us have harped on it so far this weekend about how always the bridesmaid, never the bride. 4-1 feels like it's been the consistent point for TFT as an organization. They want to change that. They want to change the narrative, and this would be a great game to do it in. Push them to 4-0, just one game out of that potential 5-0. And I think for both of these teams, obviously, we don't know if Winthrop's going to win or not, but Winthrop being the 1 seed, also being 3-0 right now, Winthrop ends up winning. Then we get a 1 versus 2 or a 1 versus 3. I mean, that's March Madness levels of seeding right there.
Yep, and that, I mean, even if it's not Team Fish Taco, just the level of competition, at least at the top, the top of this qualifiers, is just incredible, right? And it's even more fun because Bonfire Season 14, I'd love to hear how you think about it. One of the most changing switches we've seen in League in the last couple of years. We're still out here learning. These players are still learning new and improved ways to give themselves an edge on the brand new Summoner's Rift.
Yeah, I think with whenever there's a new season, you're gonna have to get used to the new items, the new map changes, all that kind of stuff. And the last couple of seasons, Jat was just talking about in the LCS broadcast, it's kind of felt like not a huge change. This season, very much a huge change. We're seeing so many different things, and I think that's what's most exciting, and that's what people were, kind of looking forward to pro play for. Is you look towards the best. What is the best way to innovate on these new changes? And I feel like these guys, who's better suited to show us than a couple of professional hopefuls trying to make a name for themselves, trying to carve a way back into that tier 1, into the LCS. All these players would love an opportunity. It all starts here. It all really starts with this game.
Let's get into a Bonfire. We are live from Summoner's Rift. 3-0 matchup. There's only 2 of them, folks, and we have the blessing of being able to cover one of them. Team Fish Taco and Aporia. I can tell you safely, in all 3 of their matchups apiece, they have looked in control, ahead, whatever you want to label it. The games were in the hands of these squads the entire time, but that has to change today as we enter Summoner's Rift with the cordial fan start.
Yeah, both of these teams have top 10 victories under their belt. For Team Fish Taco, it was against Pulse, the number 9 seed in their last matchup. And on the other side of things, it was against Lotus, the number 7 seed. Aporia got that W to go to 3-0. So both of these teams, iron sharpens iron, have beaten some of the best. It has not been easy pickings. It hasn't been a fraudulent journey by any means. But this is really where boys turn to men. This is where you can really make your name. And this is where you can show out and say, you know what, you're right. It's NACL or bust.
NACL or bust. We might already be getting some early fun here as Snow already gets the flash out of Rovex. Face checking can pay off sometimes, but how much would it potentially cost? Exhaust dropped down onto Rovex as well. Lynx has gotten that lethal tempo free firing, and now Snow is feeling the brunt of this exchange. Lynx getting so much value right now on these trades. Snow and Levitate end up both 50% HP when all's said and done.
Yeah, but they get the summoner right there, and so it's not great that they lose that much health for sure. But right now, the Xin Zhao starting in the top side, this could be a potential angle. Rovex could be on the kill list because Amelia without flash is 100% a kill angle. It'll be interesting to see if Limo's going to bring his talents towards the bot side and potentially look for an early gank.
Another player that we've been a big superstar fan of so far when it comes to TFT Bonfire has been Hoarder. He has played a multifaceted role, had performance, outstanding Jax performance, even got a really good Cassante game last time around on the tank duty, and now he's just shown another phase of his game, now on one of those AP bruisers with the Rumble.
I feel like, stop me if I'm wrong, I think we've seen 3 different champions right now from Hoarder. I believe it was the Udyr, the Jax, now the Rumble, and the Cassante. So,
yeah,
really showcasing everything that Hoarder has to offer. If you're watching this VOD, if it hasn't been obvious enough already, we've been watching TFT so far, so don't be surprised if that's kind of what we gravitate towards. Knowing great double knockup, but no really damage behind it.
Yeah, and Limo has showed up here to make sure to cover for the dive. Levitate and Snow do grab level 2, so I think that should assuage music from trying to go for that dive. They don't have that level 1 advantage. Mid lane, Potential snoozer lane is getting a lot of early damage down. Like you mentioned, Sudsy getting Samikin low. The tension is building here. Music is still sticking around with Rovex. They're still pushing these waves to levitate. It's a huge Q from Lynx. No heal on this Zaya. This might just be first blood. If Levitate can't get out, a little bit of healing over from Snow, but this is just so dicey.
Yeah, this is a disaster lane right now. Limo gonna take a lot of damage.
Music flashes forward, gets first blood as well. They get the root onto Limo. Rovex claims that one. They bide their time, and Aporia cash in for 2.
Yeah, it's a horror position right there from TFT. You can't back because you lose so much. You have to take a fight at some point, and the entire time, this Poppy's just waiting around, waiting for you to make one mistake. They find the mistake right there, and they capitalize off it. That's going to be a turret plate as well. Aporia getting a statement right there, getting themselves a little bit of a lead. And if you're looking at this Zaya right now, yeah, your eyes are not deceiving you. 7 CS. It's just a horror start.
Very, very tough start here. Levitate gonna have to crawl himself back. Last game for Team Fish Taco. Bottom lane was the early game strength. Levitate and Snow. They'll now have to play from behind. What do the adjustments look like for the rest of the squad? At least for Limo, trying to get a farm advantage back. He is on the invade here, going for a full clear. The music is coming down.
Yeah, music is here. I do think Limo should be fine. Still does have flash, did not use it in that last engagement. Also, very importantly, look at how long it took for the Aphelios to back because of Snow 2. Just now getting back to lane. That's an entire wave they're going to miss. Limo's here in the top side. Hold on.
Lawrence steps away from his turret, and it's going to cost him. Hoarder grabs that kill, the Ignite over top, and the pathing from Limo grants Hoarder a lead.
Yeah, I love that from Limo right there. Not immediately taking tower aggro, waiting, and then just when you expect them, all right, there's not going to be a potential attempt, going in, getting that knock up, that third Q onto the cannon. Even with the flash, there's just nothing that you can do to stop it as a key summoner down from this cannon, and there could be another potential, you go back to the well that's been given, right? I feel like this cannon doesn't have a lot of health. You're going to have consistent push in with this Rumble. Could be another potential angle for Lima to go top and get his top laner even further ahead.
It looks like we're going back to the formula TFT utilized on day 1, which is Limo cryoing the top side. Been extensive talks about the Void Grubs, whatever you want to call them. Myself and Bonfire like to call them the Kevins and the Jerrys, respectively. But they are widely considered the biggest snowball tool for the game right now of League of Legends. Limo, for the third game of 4, has secured Team Fish Taco the opening 3.
Yeah, very, very important. The big number right there is 5. If you're just kind of joining this new season, 5 gets you the little Kevins and Jerrys that get to push onto turrets. You also get true damage and burn on turrets. So you just absolutely shred through them. Makes it so unbelievably difficult to stop the side laning, and which really has been where their strength has come through. Just throw Hoarder on a side lane, let him cook, and then group up as 4 and let Levitate and Snow 2 fight as a team. Right now, that's kind of what they're going to need to do. This Aphelios doing a really good job of keeping Levitate in check.
Yeah, it's important to mention, though, that Lynx, those first 2 kills to the bot side, neither of them went his way. Rovex grabbed one, Music grabbed the other, so assists are still nice. He gets that gold lead, but it's not as much gold as he would have liked. Good response still from Music. We got harped on it. This is honestly near tier 2 level matchup in the qualifiers, and you're seeing it here through Music's pathing, his poise. Limo gives him the bot side. He's going to take everything he can.
Yeah, look, it's the difference of I have top side push. I'm going to pop out with the top side. I have bot side push. I'm going to take the bot side things. And it's the difference between Kevin's and the difference between the first Dragon. Now the question is, can Music find something else? Here comes the Hex Flash.
Yep, they're going to try and get Levitate against the wall. Good cancel, though, from Snow. The Flash root, they pin Music under the turret. What a display of talent from Levitate and Snow. They didn't even need Sudsy to show up.
Yeah, but that is a beautiful play right there. And what a way to get back in the game for Levitate and Snow. They have to be careful. Red, white, don't fight. Lynx is still dangerous. But as long as they survive, that is going to be a great moment for them. Because now they're back in this game. Now there's a potential way back in. That is a, oh no, Hoarder.
Lawrence is looking for a way back into his top lane matchup, but he doesn't have enough damage for the final knockout blow. And that's another kill over to Hoarder. This one is a seesaw like we expected early.
Yeah, that was tough because it looked like that equalizer wasn't really equalizing anything. Luckily, Lima was there to help out his friend, help out his topside, topside buddy. That's exactly what he did. Make sure that it continues to snowball on the top side. But some of you have heard this one before. Music in the bot side.
Yep, Music is going to get the knockup, doesn't get the stun on the turret. The ult whiffs from Lynx, and the rip feather pullback is amazing from Levitate, but he still gets rooted by the Graviton. Lynx finds that kill, and Music and Lynx get their revenge. Lynx finally on the board. Another great stun for Music, and it's a double up for Lynx. This game is just back and forth all the time.
Yeah, there's only so much they can do. You get beautiful flashes from Levitate that net them a kill, but Music just recognizes, look, that's a level 5 Zaya, that's a level 5 Rakan, and there's no flash on either of them. This is going to be about as easy as it gets. And another double kill going over. So all the kills for the Aporia squad have been when Music comes in the bot side and just tower dives them. We were talking about this in the last game. A lot easier to tower dive when you're in this professional setting. You have all that communication. I will say, kind of interesting, you expect those tower dives when you're on red side, but blue side's actually where it's coming along.
It's given an open avenue for the future when it comes to Aporia. How Lynx is 2-0-2 on Aphelios, who will not fall off at any point in this game. He is just going to continue scaling on up, and it's another game where we see the old classic tale of top side versus bot side prio. The point of contention is, when do those two intersect, right? Talk about the next dragon coming up. Rift Herald will be a thing. Those are the areas you're going to watch for with how close this game has gotten. But the bot side's still going to continue to be punished here at 14 Fish Taco. Music is just hounding Levitate and Snow as much as possible.
Yeah, not letting them breathe, continuously clearing vision, and that's why it's so difficult, because you have no clue if Music's waiting in the wings or not. And you obviously don't want to be underneath your turret when a tower dive's coming across, but you have no clue where Music is. At this point, Music is waiting around, potentially looking for another Hex Splash, as the Jerrys are going to be taken over, and oh boy, Snow 2 and Levitate. I will say it's going to be a lot harder now. Levitate does have his ultimate.
Great dodge, though, from Snow. Keeper's Verdict makes sure that Snow can still back up Levitate, doesn't leave him alone on the turret. On the meantime, Limo is taking all 6 Void Grubs. So TFT get that, but Lynx is unrelenting. He's got that Noon Quiver. He's nearly towards that first item, and Levitate's starting to feel it.
Yeah, almost as the first turret as well. That entire time they were dancing around there, Lynx was just hitting the turret. He said, I'm not really that concerned about it, and oh boy, Lawrence.
Great equalizer. Hoarder holds turret aggro, sets up Limo. Hoarder can take one more shot. It is a perfect dive there. The stun made it dicey, but Lawrence is learning the same lesson Levitate and Snow are on the opposite end of the rift.
Yeah, I think that this is the kind of the craziest difference of top versus bot prio we've ever seen. At least this OQ, as Limo's going to take some damage here, but should be fine. Still has the ultimate if need be.
Slow take some across.
I think he continued to fight. I mean, it's just a straight 1v1 right now. Everyone should be able to walk away.
Lawrence did teleport down, but he's late. Limo does get out, like you mentioned. Actually, not much turning out from that one, but Limo and Music, it feels like they haven't crossed paths yet this game in a while with how they've been mirroring their strategy.
Yeah, I will say you are going to have the range advantage with the equalizer from this Rumble, and so the Aphelios will absolutely cook in a team fight when they're able to get the damage across, but if they're half health because of an equalizer, it's going to get difficult to get into these fights, especially going into a Nazir shuffle. Something of that sort could be difficult. So it is get down, Mr. President. They put all of their resources into this Aphelios. We want to pull up the gold graph really quick. I'm curious how much gold they're sitting on. Holy moly. Yeah, that's 5,300 gold. Better than everybody on the Rift and then some.
Yeah, and especially nearly that is a 1,500 gold lead on Levitate, who, luckily isn't playing one of those champions that is going to feel it needed early pressure on the Zaya, but like you're seeing, when spending on the Graviton combination, the guns, the firearm combination, I mean, does Levitate even get to play the game, get close?
No, I will answer that rhetorical question for you. He does not. Levitate can barely walk up as is. Lynx just has the long range gun right now, and wave clears so quickly with the blue gun as well. So really in a difficult position to even farm up, even try to get back into this game. Does have the kill, so isn't completely out of this game yet. But man, this is a tough position for the Zaya to be in, man.
The toughest that Levitate has seen so far in these open qualifiers. And hats off to Lynx and Rovex. They have now collected, if they get this wave in, they're going to get 7 plates, between the bottom lane here. They took down the whole turret themselves on the bot side, and they are just continuing to hound Snow, even struggling to clear out wards. And this is a lesson. This is what happens when Aphelios gets an early lead.
Yeah, great work by Music, recognizing what their win con is, how they're going to win this game. I think the Emilio is going to make it difficult as well to get on top of this Aphelios and to potentially burst them down. We have not seen a team fight yet. It's been a lot of skirmishing, like we talked about. No tank on really either team, so I think a straight team fight we're not going to see for quite a while. The question is anybody going to get caught out? Sudsy could be in that position.
And Rovex roam down. Great flash from Music to cancel the dash. There's the Emperor's Divide. Buys Sudsy a bit of time, but Rovex is also here. Quality flash. That's a veteran move from a veteran player. And Levitate is also going to be dodging out some ultimates. He gets away from Moonlight Vigil. Featherstorm guys him some time. Snow knows that Lynx doesn't have his trusty Emilio near, and we'll get both summoners out of the very fed Aphelios.
Yeah, that is massively important. Obviously, Levitate did end up losing the ultimate alongside the Ghost, but getting both out. Hold on a second.
Porter wants Lynx's name, but he's not going to get it. The healing, the cozy campfire's enough. Limo also going to fall. Team Fish Taco overestimate their ability and pay for it.
Yeah, they recognize that this is a summoner-less Aphelios, but they have the 6th team member, the turret. And so there's not a lot that they can do. They take so many tower shots. And that is a disaster right there. The question is, how much are they going to lose for it? They're going to lose mid push, and they're probably going to lose top turret as well. The question is, do they lose that all-important Rift Herald too? That could swing the game.
Certainly could, and it has swung at least in the gold department. 1,500 gold lead now over to Aporia by this point. And Lynx is just arming himself to the teeth and nail. Kraken Slayer, he's got the BF sword down for a multitude of options if he wants to go itemization-wise. And they are making sure to take as much real estate as they can, Aporia, while they hold this lead.
Yep, they are going to lose a bot lane turret, though. And so, while it's great they get the Rift Herald, realistically, Rift Herald gets you 1 turret at best. And so, it's going to get traded. Turret for turret, you'd imagine. I think they're going to win out on the gold because the Rift Herald does give gold itself. But I think that's a great cross-map play from Limo and Sudsy.
Sudsy has just quietly been farming up, except for that one escapade down to try and catch him. We burn his flash. Though his lane counterpart, he's going to be Lawrence, and he's been feeling dives all game long. This time it's Snow. Beautiful charm. The execution is on point, and they get Sudsy on the board. And with those little meat blinks, might just get another turret as well.
Yeah, those mites make it really, really tough. But the thing is, they still have Rift Herald, so they're trading it evenly right now. This Rumble can't really do a lot to stop it. Does have Equalizer coming up soon, but as of right now, cannot walk up nearly far enough to be able to stop it. So it's a tier 2 for tier 2. It's a tier 1 for tier 1. Levitate wants to fight Zambican here.
But he wasn't expecting Rovex there. The Cozy Campfire once again swaying a trade. Zambican is going to be safe there. Aporia setting up shop in the enemy jungle and paying dividends with it.
Able to survive. Here comes Lynx. Limo should be okay with the Crescent Guard, but they do have to be careful. Lynx is obviously a huge problem, and yeah, that's the damage that Nazir can do when they do have that Nashor's Tooth. Just wait for the Lich Bane, my friend. That's when it's really going to start to hurt. That was 1 soldier push and 1 auto. Does about 15% of the health. Very, very dangerous. This is here. Really scaling up because not only did they get a kill, not only do they have great CS, also do have 2 turrets in the bot side. And so the gold, pretty good for Sudsy. This is going to have to be a Sudsy and Hoarder carry game, you'd have to imagine.
Yeah, especially with the fact that Sudsy is going to be, most of the time, the real only one that can answer the range of Lynx. So you're going to have to lean on him to be a lot of that damage. And like we talked about, no real tanks here, so the damage dealers are going to be massive. The Death Brush set up, Music just face checking. TFT, they don't want to give up Soul Point this early on in the game. You can see their posturing shows that.
Yeah, they are very, very nervous about this for Khan. Snow 2 does have ultimate, does have the quickness, doesn't have flash. So potentially getting on could be difficult. Here comes the teleport from this Corki. Does have the package. They're going to take a fight. Now would be the time.
Yeah, Flank angles trying to be set for TFT. They're just burning
Oh
down
my
Lawrence, but
goodness.
now they might have Hoarder pop. There is the package, and there goes Hoarder. Salmon grabs that one. Limo now jumping to the front line, trying to get to Lynx, but he's caught up. The slicing maelstrom stun just enough to get Lawrence on the board. Team Fish Tacos flank angle falls just short, and Aporia punishes it, but they haven't thought about Sunsy. Forces the flash out of Rovex. There's the Moonlight Vigil onto Snow, and Sunsy's getting so much value out of this Azir right now, keeping TFT in the fight.
Yeah, getting in here, it's going to be difficult. Here comes Music.
Music does trade himself, though, just for Snow. So it's 1-for-1 with Sunsy, but that will set up the rest of his team to hit this Drake, but they don't have their jungler. Despite that, Team Fish Taco, the two-man carry, is not willing to take this risk.
Yeah, Limo just kind of getting out of base right now. It's super difficult to get into the meat grinder that is Lynx, who, by the way, is just full health out of nowhere. Thanks a lot of Felios healing. And so, feeling pretty comfortable. Red, white, do not fight. And TFT is going to heed that warning. Back off. They say you can have the Soul Point Dragon. Aporia came what they were looking for.
This game, you could feel it. It's building up. Gold lead has still been tight despite the fact that Aporia have done a great job answering the aggression of Team Fish Taco, and now they have that win con. It's not the greatest soul bonfire. I'm sure they were hoping for maybe an Infernal with how the first two Drakes went, but a soul is a soul, and Chemtech will have its benefits.
Yep, Chemtech will 100% have its benefits, especially on this Aphelios. Aphelios, a lot of times, is going to drop to pretty low health and heal back up. You're always kind of in that interesting limbo. It's good dodge right there from Lynx.
Ooh.
And whoa, hold on a second.
Levitate gets the root. The Feather Storm nearly gets it to Flash W from Limo. The most anticipated kill finally comes. Limo pops Lynx for the first time.
Yeah, and with Lynx off the Rift, I mean, that is a lot of their pushing power. That's a lot of their health. They are able to knock all those minions away, compliments of Music. But with this Azir turret right here, they're probably able to get this second tier turret, and this is the issue with when you have one member who's incredibly strong and everybody else is not nearly there. Once one person goes down, that's kind of it. They have to concede this and kind of limp away there.
And with that Azir turret behind them, they do grab that tier 2, the equalizer, to make sure it is picked off for the side TFT. The ebbs and flows of a big-time Titan v Titan matchup still rearing their ugly head as we are deadlocked at gold, and TFT not out of this game by any measure.
Yeah, we haven't really talked a lot about this mid lane right now, about this Samikin, not who's currently in the mid lane, about Samikin right now 4-0. They are going to start Baron right now on this reset, on the tempo. They have no vision. There's a blue ward right now, but it's already down to 5,500. They're teleporting. I think it's gone.
It is completely gone, Bonfire. Lynx and Samikin, the two marksmen, just shred those objectives. And a Baron on spawn, 20 minutes and 45 seconds. The purple band is going the way of Aporia.
Yeah, I mean, that's beautiful right there. They recognize that everybody had just backed. They had a lot of money to spend. They had low health bars. And so they just push it. They say, you know what, we can do it. Recognize that they had just all taken resets. Now's the time. Get themselves the Baron. And they buy themselves some more time for everybody else to scale up to where Lynx and Samikin are. Because it can't just be the Lynx and Samikin show. They need other members to be alive and to be fed in order to do something.
Now this is Aporia's turn to really start cracking turrets. That one was the easy one. Keep in mind, the Soul Point Drake is about 2 minutes away. So a lot of bot lane posturing coming across from Aporia. They're looking to set up as many advanced wards as they can and just continuously shove in waves upon waves. Hoarder trying to at least get one back for TFT on the timings top side, but that's just not the priority lane right now.
Lynx just like half health Levitate, by the way, with one shot. That is tough for Levitate. I mean, look at the health bar. That was 1 Q with the green gun, an auto, and then a root from the purple. That's some damage right there from Lynx. Feeling pretty good right now. Question is, what more can they get from it? Lynx is roamed down bot to help out his team, looking for this tier 2 here.
Yeah, it's on Sudsy to get the clears going as quickly as possible. Order here as well, but can't get too far up. Music, you could see him just waiting in the wings, looking for that angle to get a stun onto a priority target. He's got the flash available. He's got everything in his kit. But one cleared wave, and everyone's going to reset. Take a breath for a couple of seconds.
Yeah, they're going to get mid lane, at least turret low, maybe even take the whole thing with the Corki just sitting there waiting. Samikin Really been the unsung hero. I tried to talk about it earlier, but kind of got interrupted by a fight. Has done a great job this game, and they're able to clear one wave away, but it's a Baron, my friend. There is more than one wave you have to worry about. They got what they were looking for.
2 turrets now taken off the board. With that, Baron Gold has given the biggest lead of the game over to Aporia, sitting at about around 2,000, which really doesn't mean too much, especially at the point we are in the game. It is still anyone's title to claim of 4-0 and a shot at undefeated glory in the first weekend of OQs.
Yeah, it's going to come down to this. This is the soul right here. TFT prioritizing those grubbies meant that they did have to give the first 2 up, and now they have to be slightly concerned about it. Importantly, Corky doesn't have the package yet, but I believe he's picking it up, and indeed he is. And so they have to be worried about the package coming, and here comes the teleport. Package inbound.
And the flank angle's being set up. They're going for Hoarder once more. This time in enemy jungle. Hoarder flashes away, but he guards right into Music. It's another fight where Hoarder is picked before the dragon can even be started. And now Music, look at the avenue for a flank they have, but he has to be careful because all of TFT is right over that wall waiting for him. And with that pick on Hoarder, Team Fish Taco are not willing to take this fight. They need that rumble, and they're going to give up Soul to Aporia because of it.
Yeah, they don't want to fight without the rumble. I feel like when you don't have the equalizer, you're not nearly as comfortable. They recognize that, and so they have to concede that soul. You did say not super important of a soul as souls go, but soul's a soul, my friend. That is going to do some work as is. So a beautiful, beautiful pick right there onto Hoarder. We've really only spoken Hoarder's praises this series, this OQ so far, but this game getting ahead was 2-0 at one point, now 2-3. Just continuously keeps getting picked off. Feels like everybody on this Aporia squad has eyes on the rumble, and it's making it very difficult for Hoarder to do much.
And 3 items coming through for Sam McKinney. He's 5-0. This young rising star. I know, Bonfire, you and I got to look at him in the Risen Champions League last split. Was an outstanding performer. Brought his squad of Sam McKinney fanboys, by the way. That was his team name. You're curious because of how good he is. Pretty farther than many expected him to go, and he apparently impressed so much in combines across the board that he landed on this elite Aporia roster and has not disappointed since.
Yeah, there's no Bonfire fanboys. There's no Slayer fanboys. Only the best get fanboys. So just goes to show, man, you get good enough at League, you will have a little army of friends willing to do your bidding. Kind of the goal, I feel like. Samikin fanboys. We were talking about it in the ACL. It was kind of Samikin versus the world on that team. Not saying the rest of his team wasn't good, but man, Samikin was carrying at certain points, and obviously this Aporia squad, he's got some better pieces around him, but once again, Lincoln, you missed it. Or would you be surprised, I guess is a better way of putting it, Samikin doing a little bit more carry.
And he's got that Malignance picked up, one of the new items, just to get as much extra juice out of those big-time rockets, the rocket barrages that Corky can fire. Trying to get those rockets back up as quickly as possible. Re-item, a huge power spike, also coming through for Sutzi. Get some calmness on the Rift because no more Baron for Aporia. They're just going to wait and try and set up for the next iteration of Nash. And until then, it's wave clearing time.
Gotta clear the waves. Waiting on the Nasher, waiting on the Elder. 3.5 minutes to go until that. Talking about the items, Lichbane, Void Staff, and the Nashers on this Aphelios. Just going to be able to chunk through really anybody and do quite a bit of damage once you get a couple of soldiers' autos down. But on the other side of things, right, you're talking about Samikin. Lynx as well. Got the IE, got the Kraken. Everybody's going to do quite a bit of damage as we head to the 26-minute mark. As, yep, here comes the fighting.
Sutzi, that's Flash and Ghost out of Lynx, but how much is going to cost them? They have Samikin on the other end. Limo, they get the pick. It's finally TFT's time with a slice of Maelstrom coming through for Lawrence. Gets the stuns. The front line is burned down. Music will not let them go at all. It's 4 quick kills for Aporia. Samikin falls, but the rest of Aporia will sing his name in revenge. Ace Aporia, and that might be the nail in the coffin.
That should do it. I don't know if they have the wave, though, right now, and they're recognizing it. Mid lane's push in right now. They should be able to get an inhibitor in the top side with that. And obviously going to get that Nasher. So the game will continue to go on. They throw everything at Samikin right there. The whole kitten and the caboodle. And they do get it, but at what cost? Because at the end of the day, there are other members on this team other than Samikin. And Just like a good teammate, they're waiting for Samikin to join back. They're waiting for Samikin to respawn, and then they're going to take the Baron.
Yeah, they don't get the base cracked open just yet, like you mentioned. The waves weren't in a great spot. But this is getting dire now for Team Fish Taco. The gold lead has ballooned. Item difference is going to be a big factor, and now they're going to have to do the old-fashioned turtle in their base. No outer turrets available. They've got to find a way to fight back from the inside of their walls.
Yeah, they have to turtle, and once they finish turtling, once this Baron is done, that's pretty much exactly when the Elder Dragon is spawning. And so they're not going to have any vision of the Elder Dragon. This is a tough uphill battle for them to try to climb. It's Everest, baby. If we try, like we were saying, everybody's played against some good teams. Lynx!
They're going for Lynx early. The Keeper's Verdict doesn't come through, slicing Maelstrom onto Lima, but Lynx does fall. Music now the next target, but look who teleported in. Samikin and Sunsy are here. Sunsy, what a stream and shuffle. He picks off Lawrence. Levitate, though, falls in the background. Good soundings for Lawrence. There's the shutdown. The Azir turret comes up, and Rovix is next. The fight is split, but it's in the hands of TFT. They won't go down without a fight.
Yeah, they won't go down without a fight. Music and Samikin doing the right thing right now, stopping the wave so they don't lose the game right now. They get Lynx, and really, Samikin's so fed, but Lynx is the linchpin, my friend. Once Lynx dies, it feels like the fight, every hope that they have dies as well. They have that top push, so Suchi should be able to get a bounty. They punch back, round 10. Rocky is not out for the count, my friend. You can hear the music playing.
And it got to go back to that veteran leadership time and time again. Guys like Snow, guys like Sudsy that I know are the big voices in the comms for this TFT squad. Snow not willing to just wait in their base. They went for that opportunity to get a catch. And then Sudsy, what a deliverance on that teleport through. And oh boy, we are nowhere close to a finish if TFT keep finding avenues like that.
Yeah, getting Lynx there was massive. Can they do it again? Lynx still no summoners. Samikin knows summoners as well. And so if they want to go into either of those carries, they should be able to. Snow 2 does have Flash, this Rakan, which really was the reason that they got Lynx in that last fight, now has Flash up. And so it's going to get even easier. Look at that damage onto the cannon right there. How many? Is it 2 and 0 autos?
Yeah.
I feel like Lawrence now has to back or has to play a lot safer. I mean, you might not be able to get the entire slicing Maelstrom off because of it.
Here we go, Bonfire. The biggest fight of the game, maybe even this entire qualifier. The Elder has been started up by Aporia. They are burning it down, and the waves have to be answered by TFT. And here they come. This is where the whole game has been made in this bot side river, fight after fight, and we're going to do the dance once more. Elder down to below half HP. Hoarder eating rockets, not like they're candy, like they're poisonous berries. There's the equalizer out. Keeper's Verdict does hit Sudsy away. Who gets the Elder? It's Lemo! Lemo steals it away, but can they find the kills? Hoarder flashing for Samikin, who flies right into the hands of Sudsy, but Lynx has done so much work, killing off all of the front line. Levitate too low. Lemo, they're all going to get away along with Sudsy. Elder in the hands of TFT. They're still in this one.
Lemo's going to push away. Wave's going to push into the bot side as well. That's a massive fight to find right there. Lemo plays the hero. He's ready to be the captain, the general. He needs to be the one, and he gets the steal. Keeps them in the game. This one continues to go the distance. It's exactly what you were hoping for. The national championship, it feels like right now. And the best part is this isn't even a 5-0 game. It might as well be, though, as both of these teams are fighting for their undefeated lives at the moment. Unbelievable right there.
This is Goosebumps material. I've got on Bonfire. I don't need to be live on Twitch to know how big of a game this is. It is absolute pandemonium on the Rift right now. And the biggest part, though, that we got to talk about is, yes, TFT, they lose some members, but who do they have Elder on? Xin, Azir, and Xayah.
Yeah, getting it on the Azir is massive because of the ranged advantage that you get. Obviously, the Xayah great if you go into an actual fight, but realistically, not the longest range. Is Lemo going to take a little bit of chunk? Oh my goodness!
Lemo wants Samikin. He knows the Elder gives him so much, but he wasn't calculating for the rest of the team. He somehow survives with the Crescent Guard. What is Emperor's Divide as well? The Keeper's Verdict sends Sudsy away, and here comes Lawrence. He flashes through and he finds the carries. He'll get executed by Sudsy, but that's a 2-for-1, and Lawrence gets it done.
Once again, it's TFT just pushing too far, trying to do too much, biting off the entire lollipop when they need to lick their way to the center of it. And they're going to lose their lives for it. Elder soon to be down as well. So Sudsy just trying to do everything that he can, anything that he can right now. No neutral objectives up, and everybody gets to take a breather, gets to take a breath as music is trying to make a sweet song right now, the song of victory as he pushes the rest of his troops in, pushes them into the base as they try to crack it down.
Elder seconds away from dropping off of Sudsy. Base broken for TFT. All the big time carries are still up for the Aporia roster, and look at the Rockets just dissipating Sudsy's health bar. But luckily the resets will come through. 20 seconds away from Baron. All 10 members are up, but Aporia are getting cheeky.
We might have ourselves another fight right now. Samikin, hold on a second. Here we go. They're pushing up like they want to do something, but it's just poke. They just want to try to poke them out before this potential Baron fight. And you have to imagine Vision is in the way of Aporia right now, the number 3 seed. Doing a good job of keeping that Vision control. TFT doing a good job dodging out on that damage the best they can. Here we go.
Limo goes again. Lynx has to flash out. Slicing Maelstrom used defensively. They pop Limo. He is dead. Gets the key summoners out of Lynx, but pays the price with his life. Keeper's verdict down as well. But a numbers advantage for Aporia on what could end the game. The end-all be-all fight.
Yeah, and that was the jungler as well. So they recognize we have no way of getting into this Baron pit. There's nothing that we can do. They're just going to try to shove in the mid lane right now and potentially try to get an inhibitor. All backing right now. They're too concerned about getting backdoored. They get a wave shoved in. They keep themselves alive a little bit longer, but don't look topside, my friend. That is the wave. Your eyes do not deceive you. Could this be the straw that broke the camel's back? Limo once again just trying to overpush, trying to be the hero, ends up losing his life, and they lose Baron for it.
And Lawrence really heads up play, caught the TFT wave that would have gone all the way through, so it just resets the wave mid. So they don't have to worry about that big time push or losing their own turrets, and they can start the siege, like you mentioned, looking to crack down more of the base and a couple more Lynx autos, and that turret is as good as dead.
Lynx with that RFC every now and again should just be able to walk up and get one auto off. Gonna do it again soon, you'd imagine. Samikin trying to get some damage across. They're just gonna continue to push wave. It's a 5v5 in the top side. Music taking some damage from this Azir, but still feeling fairly comfortable. And with these Baroned up minions, there's just not a lot they can do. Limo takes some damage. Samikin taking some damage. That's a great equalizer.
Great equalizer. Breath of Light comes out for Rovex. Big time healing. And they're able to get out with just that one turret. Sudsy going to refortify the turrets, and they'll lose topside tier 3. But no more supers in that wave. They'll survive for a couple minutes longer.
Slayer, how often... Oh, hold on a second. Oh! Sudsy's gone!
Goodbye, Sudsy. One Moonlight Vigil does it. Lynx is just unstoppable in this game.
That could be massive because now Sudsy's gone. That is the package in base right now that Samikin can grab, and they still have Baron. Sudsy's gone for another 40 seconds. 40 seconds, Slayer. They need to push out waves. TFT. I've been in this position before. How often do you get to watch League of Legends games with 3 Barons and potentially 2 Elders that get taken? This one is just an unbelievable game. It's living up to the hype. But TFT, I was just going to say, TFT, it feels like they've just always found a way to cling onto the edge of the cliff, but their fingers are slipping, my friend.
They're slipping fast, but this is where they created a bit more of room to wiggle. The Elder, Limo's heroic steal, but will they get a chance at it? Sudsy is up, teleport available, teleporting as close as he can get to the team. He doesn't want to risk a dive at any point, but Lynx is looking for it. Red and white don't fight, does go down, Bonfire, and of course, it wouldn't be NA without an NA ram right before this Elder.
Lynx has GA right now. They're just trying to get the wave shoved in and get that vision set up. And with those Baroned up minions, they are going to get the first vision. Hoarder. Oh no,
not again.
Heard this one.
Equalizer down, but he's dead. That is a fleeting ult. Hoarder picked again at the Drake, and Levitate nearly gets popped by Lynx. One big shot of the green gun, and it's going to leave Sudsy. He's trying to create a flank of his own. Good, Emperor's Divine, but Music gets through it. A rocket on the fade away from Samikin does it. 2 solo lanes down. Aporia are just a couple of seconds away from punching a ticket to the 5-0 battle.
Right now, they don't have the waves, but with the Elder being up for another 2 minutes or so, they should be able to end this one. They should be able to win this game. Massive that they were able to find Hoarder once again, caught out alone. What Hoarder had done best is going to be his undoing. His side laning, what has brought TFT to victories, feels like it's going to be potentially their last breath of life. Lynx has that GA. You thought it was difficult enough to kill him once, try killing him twice. With that Elder buff up right now, they're looking at this bot lane and they're licking their chops.
Elder on everybody. Sudsy not up just yet. Inhibitors are going to fall like very, very rusty beams. There's one down, mid going to fall next. The triple inhib is going to be as easy as 1, 2, 3 here. And if you thought TFT was turtling before, now the true turtle comes across. Supers doubled up in all lanes coming down.
Yeah, at this point the question is, can they survive this? And my friend, I said they were slipping before. They are midway through their fall, just grasping at any part of the cliff that they can hold on to. There might not be anything left. There might not be anything left to hold on to. Levitate takes a huge chunk right here. A massive rocket right there from Samakin. And they might be falling to their death soon.
They got the Moonlight Vigil out of Lynx, but the Featherstorm was the cost. Super minions have arrived, and these Nexus turrets cannot stand up. They cannot fortify to the damage that Aporia has. They're going to get deleted. It has to be a play. Sudsy's going for it. He doesn't get a chance at Lynx. Everybody popped. Everybody gone in an instant for TFT. Aporia, it wasn't pretty. It took them a whole 40 minutes, but they are going to punch their ticket to a 5-0 chance taking down Team Fish Taco.
Whenever there is a heavyweight battle, you just watch two Goliaths swing at each other for all of the rounds, and this is exactly that. It didn't need to be easy. It didn't need to be a flashy 15-minute win. It needed to be all 40 minutes. 3 Barons, 2 Elders, everybody level 18 except for the supports. That's what it took from both of these teams. It took everything that they had. And at the end of the day, Aporia was that heavyweight standing at the end, holding their hands up in the air, and they get the chance to go for 5-0.
It was all on the back of their former AOE 80 carry. Lynx ends the game 10-2-12 as you're going to look at those post-game stats. Big time up in the damage charts as well. And this one, like your Bonfire mentioned, lived up to the tale of this 2-3 matchup. But it goes the way of Aporia here. Got to give props to guys like Lawrence. I mean, he was hounded on the weak side, but when push came to shove, he knew his duty was to be the slicing maelstrom cannon. And he set up those fights so well time and time again.
Yeah, they got Hoarder on the side lane a couple of times because of the package, because of the slicing maelstrom. Limo did everything that they could as the late game Xin Zhao, but it wasn't nearly enough. TFT falters at the finish line. We said it wasn't going to be easy. These OQs feels like there's a lot of parity between the top 5 teams, and we saw it right there. Anybody can beat anybody in the top 5. Whether you're the 3 seed, the 2 seed, doesn't matter. TFT, the number 2 seed, who a lot of people were expecting to potentially go 5-0, cannot make it happen. Now the question is, can they get the consolation prize? Can they go 4-1? And can they still secure themselves a good position? On the other side of things, if you're Aporia, can you knock down the giant? Can you get the monkey off your back? And can you get that perfect record?
All that to be decided very soon here. And whoever is watching at home, very positive that you can check that out on the Running the Rift YouTube channel. Once again, shout out to them for allowing us to come on here and cast on these recordings for all you guys at home, just to make sure you guys get a look at some of these advanced stats. Going to throw those ones on up here. That was an awesome matchup. Like you heard Bonfire say, Aporia, the 3 seed, now 4-0. They'll have a title shot at the winner of BlackRock Esports or Winthrop University. We don't know the result of that one just yet as of recording, but you guys will obviously be able to check that one out on the YouTube channel. It was an absolute pleasure to take you through this game, myself and Bonfire covering it. And make sure to check out the rest of the slate to figure out just what the GSL stage of these NACL qualifiers look like with all the games up on the YouTube channel. But for now, it's sayonara from Slayfire. Take care.